Welcome back to my channel. I'm Nicole and I've been MIA. Do you want to come in? Come in. For the sake of people who are new here, I'm gonna save the life updates for the end of the video. So if you want to know what's been going on in my life, skip to the end. Now I have my cozy drink. It's chamomile, and I hope you have yours. How strange that nature does not knock and yet does not intrude. I only started drinking tea within the last 2 months. Let's sit down and chat about the realities of starting a YouTube channel and being a small creator. Because to be honest, I've been struggling lately and I think we should all talk about it. I wanted to start with talking about being consistent because I think consistency is something that you will see repeated over and over again for starting a YouTube channel. I've read it, I've watched it, every single thing you consume will tell you to be consistent and you will grow your channel. And I'm not saying that this isn't true and that it won't help you grow your channel, because I'm sure it will, but for someone just starting out, it's something that has weighed very heavily upon me, and hitting deadlines that I've arbitrarily set for myself to hit this woo-woo goal of being consistent, because no one can really give you a number on how consistent you need to be to grow. I also don't think every YouTuber has the same goals to grow as another creator. Like, some people are very focused on getting as big as possible, and while I think every YouTuber's goal is to gain subscribers, gain followers, whatever, I think there are other benefits to YouTube, like creating a community and things like that, engaging with your subscribers. That can be important to YouTubers. So I just feel like there's a lot of focus on this consistency aspect. And to be honest, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, even though this whole video is probably just going to sound like I'm complaining, but I'm just trying to make others aware of these issues, or kind of just vent and relate to others. Producing quality content takes a lot of time. And obviously, depending on what kind of content you're creating, it can take differing amounts of time. I don't have the newest or the nicest equipment or software or whatever it may be to help me make this process as efficient as possible. It's just me, and I'm supposed to, according to these guidelines, be producing at least a video a week, if not more. And for those of you who don't know, who maybe you haven't created videos before, that's a really fast turnaround time. Or it's not really fast, that is a respectable turnaround time. But that does not account for when life gets in the way and there's bumps in the road and things like that. Timelines can take a turn for the worst. It usually takes me about a day to film videos, or more, depending on just the duration of the content that I'm shooting. For example, me building my PC happened over multiple days, so the filming obviously took multiple days. And then once the video is filmed, that editing time can vary significantly, video to video or week to week, whatever it may be. And usually in my schedule, I only have an hour or two of dedicated time a day, and that's maximum. That is the maximum amount of time. And that is because, like many YouTubers and many just people in life, we have jobs, we have friends and family, and I have 3 pets that you guys have seen in my videos. There are a lot of conflicting interests and priorities, and filming and editing can become very hard to squeeze into an already booked schedule. So staying consistent, and that mindset of staying consistent, it really weighs on me and makes me feel guilty when I can't maintain the same level of consistency week to week or month to month. So that is something that has been very hard for me as a new creator. And then, speaking of working a full-time job, I work a full-time job. Which means 40 hours a week, not including commuting time. I cannot dedicate any time to YouTube. And those are waking hours, so I have to sleep and all that jazz, but you get the picture. Balancing work, social life, YouTube, anything else, that falls into those categories, that can be a lot for people to manage. And I think that the balance feels harder when you are a smaller creator, because this is a hobby, right? Creating videos is a hobby. It's something I do for fun. And I think trying to do something like this for fun can easily kind of take off in the wrong direction and become more of a chore, or be seen more as a job when you start tying metrics to it, like subscribers or viewer duration, things like that. All the YouTube studio girlies know. So I think the balance can become hard to achieve. I know it's been hard for me, hence my absence. I know many creators work full time. Like, this is not a unique to me experience. I've seen many larger creators talk about this. I think it hits different when you're smaller, because it's almost like, well, what's your why? Like, what's your driving purpose? If it's not, I don't have like 1 million subscribers, right, that are waiting for me to post. At this point, it's all coming from my intrinsic motivation. So I think balancing all of these things on hard days can be harder as a smaller creator, like just getting started. You really have to push yourself from within. The threat of consistency also makes this a lot harder, because when you're under this force that you feel like you should be doing something, it makes you almost like not want to do it. It's like a lot of pressure. So it takes the fun out of it and puts more pressure on it. Something I've also noticed is, depending on what your social life is like, depending on if you're an introvert or an extrovert, talking to a camera almost feels like you're socializing. And it kind of took me a couple of months to realize this and like what I was feeling. But the more I talk to a camera, the less I feel the need to talk to another person, like for any given day, right? So when I get home from work after interacting with people all day, I'm not really looking to like chat with someone, right? But sometimes that is the only time I have to chat with the camera. So it's like going from work to chatting with the camera is just like double socialization. And maybe it's the introvert tendencies in me, but like that can be a lot. And I don't think it's something you would realize unless you filmed a lot of content, because you probably wouldn't think about talking to a camera as if you were talking to a real person. But for me, it does feel like it drains energy from me. And I don't mean to say this as if I don't enjoy making YouTube videos, because like I actually love making YouTube videos, and it's one of those flow state things for me, like editing a YouTube video. Love it. Watching myself talk, not so much, but you know, whatever, it comes with the territory. But it just, all of this makes me wonder how people balance things, because I know introverts make YouTube videos, obviously, like whatever. I know people with all varying backgrounds make YouTube videos, all kinds of jobs, all kinds of like family situations, whatever. And I know it's not just me, but the balance is just so crazy. And I don't think you would realize that without starting. There becomes a really fine line between doing things you enjoy and doing them just to create content. And I think it becomes very blurry. That line becomes very blurry the more you make YouTube videos, because you can't tell if you want to do something or if you just want to film it, or if you just want to like say you did it, if that makes sense. And I've seen larger creators say this, but coming from like a small, tiny, minuscule blip of a creator on the internet, it's real. It's blurry. The line is blurry. And I already feel like I can't tell the difference between having a video idea and having like an idea of something I just want to do on the weekend. And that to me is a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary, guys. Another thing I've been struggling with, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I haven't been struggling with this as much, but just something that I hadn't really thought about. There's just a lot of gray spaces in creating. I need to restart that. Another thing that has taken a lot of my mental bandwidth recently has been this idea of knowing when to invest into my YouTube channel, into my videos, into my streaming, like whatever it may be. And I guess I mostly mean financially, but also just kind of when to dedicate more time to something versus something else. For example, like dedicating time to scripting your videos versus just going off the cuff, things like that. What I really mean is kind of like investing in my equipment. So do I buy a camera? Do I continue to film on my iPhone 12 mini? Do I upgrade from iMovie to a paid editing software? Do I upgrade to Canva Pro to make my YouTube thumbnails? These are all questions that are constantly just like bouncing around in my head, and I've just assigned arbitrary values to them. So I've been like, well, I'll get a camera when I have X number of subscribers, or I'll get a camera when I'm monetized, whatever. I'll get a camera when I've made as much as the camera from being monetized. Like stupid arbitrary goals. And you know, there's not really a clear-cut answer as to when you should invest in these things and like take your channel to the next level. And just me as a person, like I like when there's rules and I like having benchmarks to meet, and I feel like everything is just kind of up to me because it's something I'm doing for fun, right? So I can choose how much I invest in it, but not knowing where to go and having it be really open-ended is something that's new to me and unfamiliar for sure. And speaking of not knowing where to go, we're getting deep, guys. I think something that probably a lot of creators struggle with, at least I know I am. I don't know if other people struggle with it, but knowing your purpose, not in an existential sense of your life. I mean, I'm still looking for that purpose too, but knowing the purpose of your YouTube channel, knowing what you want your niche to be, knowing who your audience is, knowing what kind of content you want to film. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And I would assume that a lot of small creators who are just starting out feel the same way. I do feel like YouTube and probably other platforms like TikTok or Instagram, whatever, like they really reward you for picking a topic or picking a niche and staying within it. And that is just not me. Like even in my personal life, like I am the epitome of like jumping from one thing to the next thing, like different hobbies, no overlap, completely unrelated, and getting really hyperfixated on them. And that is really what I set out to like share in my videos, because I really wanted to create a community of people who just had these diverse interests. I know now that I've started the YouTube channel, like I know that that's not gonna happen. Like I know that you can't create a community that does all 17 random things that I do. Like I know that at some point I'm gonna have to like pigeonhole myself, and that stresses me out a little bit. Yeah, like I don't know what to pick. I don't know how people pick those things. I just want to create videos that I like to make and also that I would like to watch. Like I don't want to be making videos just because I think they'll do well, and I feel like that's where vlogging is more advantageous to the creator, in the sense that they can just live their life however they want and people will kind of follow along. Like I love vloggers. Like I love watching YouTube vlogs. I watch a ton of New York City vloggers, which makes no sense because I don't live in New York City. I don't want to live in New York City. I actually really, but no offense to them. Like that was not an offensive thing. I love New York City. Would not want to live there personally. But I envy the fact that they can just live their life and film it and people want to watch that, because I feel like that builds the best community. Whereas I feel like if I picked a niche right now, it would feel inauthentic to myself, and I would feel like the people who I was connecting with would not get the full authentic me, because there's so many layers and facets to my person. It's getting a little existential up in here. So yeah, I think that's something that's hard that people don't realize when starting a YouTube channel, is like who you put out on the internet is not who you are, and who people perceive you as is not who you are, and probably never will be, because no one on the internet is gonna fully know who you are, like how you are as a person. Yeah, I think those are my thoughts on that. Tea. Okay, if you've watched this far along, I just want you to know thank you, and I really truly appreciate you. This has felt like a conversation with a friend, so I hope you feel that way too. This video was just an opportunity for me to voice the struggles I've been going through in starting my YouTube channel and becoming a small creator. I hope you've been able to relate to at least something in this video, or maybe you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel and it can kind of provide you some insight into the turmoil that you might experience inside. Sorry, that was really dramatic. You're not gonna experience turmoil, but you might just think about these things a little bit more than you expect. So if you have been feeling this way, I hope you feel less alone. Please leave me a comment down below if you can relate, so that I feel less alone. Obviously, I'm not providing many solutions here. I just wanted to share my thoughts with all of you. If you have any tips and tricks though, please share them with me. I'd be happy to take them. And then, for those of you still waiting on the edge of your seat for my update from the beginning of the video and for my last video, it's finally here. You've been waiting for the announcement that I made about my announcement hidden within my last video, and I'm here to deliver to you. So, originally, my announcement was gonna be that I was gonna be doing Vlogmas. And for those of you who do not know, Vlogmas is a thing creators do where they post every day in the month of December. Every day. That's a lot of days. And they post new content every single day, usually related to Christmas activities, but doesn't have to be focused on the holidays, which is insane. I was never gonna do that. I was going to do the 12 days of Vlogmas, which is where I post for 12 days in December. But fortunately for me and for you, I reevaluated and decided not only was that impossible for me, but I think it certainly would have caused me to have a mental breakdown as well. For any of you who actually create videos on YouTube as well, you know how much effort and time goes into a YouTube video, and doing one of those every single day, in addition to filming, is kind of insane. And most of the creators who do Vlogmas, they end up failing. By failing, I mean they don't finish the 25 days, all the days, whatever. On top of this lofty goal, I have also been really MIA from this channel, so I don't know why I thought I could jump back in with 12 videos in 1 month. Without revealing all the ugly details, basically in November, I was going to move into a new home, and pretty much all of that fell through. So as you can imagine, that was a really stressful time, and because of the stress, I just had a really hard time filming quality content for you guys. So yeah, with that disaster, filming, editing, uploading, streaming, it kind of all went out the window. I was really kind of just down in the dumps going through it. So I hope you can forgive me for my absence, and I think that's why I felt pressured into doing Vlogmas, because I was like, I have to make my return to YouTube, like I have to re-engage with my community. So I think that was just a little bit reactive of me, and I think I should just settle back into a consistent schedule rather than jumping the gun. However, I truly hope I am back now, and I'm really excited to be back. So I look forward to connecting with y'all more in December and also into the new year in 2025. I'm very excited. So with that said, as always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.